heavy international influence and a heavy Rhode Island influence to this Rams team. Last year it was a 2-1 win for URI against BC. URI leads the all-time series against the Eagles, and they've won 2 in a row. So BC trying to get back in the win column against URI and stay undefeated to start this season, winning the first 2 games of the year.
This season very young, but a couple things I'm interested in watching right off the bat. Boston College defense hasn't surrendered a goal through the first 2 games. Rhode Island scored a lot of goals last year, but they lost a couple of their key scorers. They've struggled to score so far this year, just 2 goals through the first 2 games, a goal in each match for the Rams. So see if the Rhode Island offense can start to build some rhythm against a very tough Boston College defense.
This game was originally scheduled to be at 7 o'clock, got moved up 1 hour because some of the outer bands of Hurricane Dorian are scheduled to bother the state of Massachusetts a little bit here in Newton. That's the forecast, and certainly we're hoping and wishing everyone well who is in the path of that storm. Just the outer bands expected here, so they moved the game up an hour to try to limit as much as possible.
Yeah, even with just the outer band, supposed to be some heavy rain overnight tonight. Winds up near 20 miles an hour in this neck of the woods. Further east down near Nantucket and also in southern and eastern Rhode Island, winds are going to be much stronger. So I hope for all those folks, everybody hunkers down tonight.
Yeah, not a ton of wind here, expected 19, 20 miles an hour, but it should be enough to affect the game a little bit. I've seen that just watching the coaches and the players warming up. But there was some wind a factor today.
And it's been spotty. We've had maybe sustained wind, only like 5, 10 miles an hour for the time. It's going to pick up as this game goes on, but there have been some big gusts that come through. So you have to prepare for the wind if you're playing the ball through the air here. I expect to see both teams maybe try to play the game on the ground a little bit more, try and keep the passes on the turf where they won't be anywhere near as affected by the wind.
David Longo, who had Kelly, said he's been really impressed with the start his season, up for Lasse Lehman as Eagles working. Christopher Conradson, who scored a goal this year for Boston College. Conradson, a goal. Preseason All-ACC selection for Conradson, the sophomore from Iceland. Lehman with the touch, looking for Sigurdsson, but got knocked back by Charlie Booth, the grad transfer from Bryant, playing it back for URI.
Might not even need to rent a U-Haul for that move. Bryant also located in Rhode Island. Just pack up the van, a short haul.
Someone these URI coaches are very familiar with after 3 years at Bryant. They got the call. Certainly willing to take him on to a back line that returned 3 of its 4, and then adding Booth in, who's an experienced back from Concord, Mass.
It's a little bit ago. Look at this nice little nifty spin from Jacob Maddox to try and work his way through Joe Kellett. Eventually just keep possession, move it back to his back line.
Ludvig Benko from Norway back across for Midrup. There's a bunch of international countries, Norway, Germany, the Czech Republic, Italy, all represented in this starting lineup for URI. And of course, Iceland, a significant influence on the Boston College, with 3 in the starting lineup from Iceland.
Sigurdsson, Conradson, and Aegison. Stefan Sigurdsson up top, big physical presence in his first 2 collegiate games. Guy who's been involved in the offense, picked up an assist in the opener against Quinnipiac, and you expect him to be able to hold up to the rigors of ACC play as the season goes along, because he is built for it. 6'4", he's thick, he's solid, and he can take a bump up top.
Petter Christensen will work back as URI possessing the ball here clean, not forcing it up the field, as the Eagles will try to put a lot of pressure on their opponent. Midrup moving up, slides one through for Trishka. The outside and Christensen delivering one to the middle, soft touch, knocked down by Tamburini, and it turns around wide from Benko.
Boy, that was a phenomenal setup there. Tamburini with a great touch to knock it down, get it to Ludvig Benko in a good spot. Zarakostas was there as well, and that's a shot that just went high up over the bar. You expect Zarakostas to finish that the way that he scores goals at a high clip, but just missed it slightly high. Perfect touch, though, by the guy you're looking at there, Tamburini, to put it in a very high-quality scoring spot.
There is the new Boston College freshman goalie, Giacomo Picardo. Ed Kelly said really his calmness more than anything else has stood out, and he really helps the back line with just how calm he is. If he has things to say, he'll say it, but always composed, always poised. He has his own unique style back there, and it's worked really well for this Eagles team.
And that's the positive of, his background. He might be a college freshman, but he's played in some big high energy environments before, coming up with the Sampdoria Youth Academy, which is one of the better youth academies in Italy, playing at the top club levels of Italian youth football. That has really developed him into somebody who knows how to withstand the pressure and is not at all afraid or intimidated by the pace of the college game.
You saw Ed Kelly, his 32nd season at the helm of Boston College. He certainly knows something about days like this, born in Dublin. Both these coaches with Irish heritage, as Gareth Elliott from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Goal kick from Picardo, knocks off the head of Jacob Maddox. Lasse Lehmann picks up for Boston College. Lehmann, who's been strong in his first couple of games, the senior from Munich, Germany.
Yeah, I was impressed with how he moved the ball through the midfield in the game against Quinnipiac here last week. He was picking out passes smartly and helping BC get from defense to offense with strong possession play through the midfield.
David Longo, transfer from FIU, moving through to Lehmann. Trying to lead Mike Susky, one of the freshmen who gets his start today. 5 freshmen in the starting lineup for Boston College. Susky coming to the middle, trying to find Jesus Sawagun, the man they call Choo Choo around here. For Shapiro-Thompson, settled down, sliding to the ground, couldn't get a clean foot on it, with Stefan Schmidt, the redshirt junior keeper from Germany, jumping out.
Really clever play by Lasse Lehmann to flip it up over the defense. I think this BC team has been much better technically early on in this season compared to last year. Strong plays, creative plays to open up opportunities.
Adar Aitchison getting to play a full season, one of the captains who missed the beginning part of last season due to a leg injury. Ed Kelly talking about just the difference with having Aitchison on the field. His countrymate Conradson to another countrymate, Sigurdsson, still alive and delivers one that's stopped by Schmidt.
You saw the strength of Sigurdsson, though, stepping through tackles a couple of times. He stepped through 2 different tackles, still got a strong shot off.
Ball came up high on Lasse Lehmann, and they get a handball against Boston College. So URI possession going back the other way. 8 minutes in a scoreless game.
Again, Conradson starts that last play by taking it away. Watch Conradson's physical step up here to get right to the ball. Then he plays it ahead, and here comes the strength of the big freshman Sigurdsson. He steps through the contact there, regains control, and puts on a really strong shot, just too close to the keeper, Schmidt.
Sigurdsson listed at 6'3", 180 pounds, just outside of Reykjavik in Iceland. 3 Icelandic players, as we said. A connection that is working well for this Boston College team. A country where the sport of soccer, as we've talked about on a bunch of our Boston College broadcasts, soccer growing so much there, the performance in the World Cup and Euros a couple of years ago. There's as many soccer coaches in Iceland per bodies in that country anywhere else in the world.
And you see what good fundamentals, good technique from a young age can do to help a country develop, even if they have such a small population and small sample size. Players are well coached, they're physically conditioned well, and they're prepared for this physical grind. And it helps for Boston College that, again, they're a 4-hour flight from Reykjavik. Plenty of airlines fly there from Logan.
Here comes the Eagles' speed, flying back 4-on-2. Susky trying to lead across. Good play by Petter Christensen, one of the best defenders in the A-10.
Yeah, 4-on-2. That's good odds for the offense, but Christensen flew in there full speed to attack that ball and break things up.
But boy, the 2 additions, the freshmen specifically speed-wise, with Susky and Shapiro-Thompson, you could put them up against almost anyone in this conference for BC in terms of their speed.
Yeah, Susky's speed is going to be a huge asset. I think he'll be the fastest player on the pitch in almost every game this year, which will allow him to stretch defenses down the wing.
Mike Susky, a first year from Windsor, Connecticut, who played at Loomis Chaffee. 44 goals as a junior, one of the things that turned him on to Ed Kelly. Ball comes across for Conradson right along the goal line. Kept alive for Aitchison. Spinning it across for Susky. Settled it down, but taken away by Ludwig Benko. Now URI coming back. 0-1-1 to start the season for the Rams. They tied Fairfield and then lost 3-1 to a strong UConn team in a rematch of last year's NCAA first round game. where Rhode Island led UConn 3-1 last year in the NCAA tournament, but ended up surrendering a couple of goals to tie and then losing in overtime. Ibrahim Diop scored the final 3 goals of that game, the freshman last year from UConn.
Yeah, it was a tough way to go out for Rhode Island, but performed admirably there. UConn has really developed consistently into the best or one of the best teams in this Northeast region year in, year out. They're a really tough matchup, so no shame at all for Rhode Island in that 3-1 defeat last time out.
Long ball ahead from Victor Souza, the freshman from Ozone Park, New York, who is part of the NYC FC club program that won the 2019 Club National Championship.
And he's another freshman who I think everyone is pleasantly surprised with. He was buried a bit in that NYCFC program behind 4 guys who signed professional contracts. I think any other club he plays for, he's getting significant minutes, and now you've been able to see him flourish. And that experience of playing at that high a level has allowed him to just be so calm and comfortable as a center back, a position where you have to be basically unflappable.
Whistle here is Shapiro-Thompson went one-on-one against Zeracostas.
Giacomo Picardo has been good, but a big reason why there's a clean sheet for BC so far on the season is Picardo hasn't been put in too many bad situations. His defense has been great in front of him.
Ball comes all the way across. Trishka couldn't get a clean head on it. Kararud knocked it down. And again, any one of these situations, URI, they're content moving the ball way back, using their goalkeeper, Stefan Schmidt, in the play. Bit of the opposite style for BC, who really likes to pressure. Lasse Lehmann on the takeaway. Eagles trying to set up numbers once again. Conradson with help in front for Shapiro-Thompson, and just out of his reach as it was knocked along. Kept in, though, by Aitchison. Conradson, a little bit too far for Shapiro-Thompson.
On that previous attack, great play by Nicholas Midrup, reading the play. He ended up taking a bump at the end, but he read that play perfectly to cut off Shapiro-Thompson, because otherwise Shapiro-Thompson was in. He'd beaten his own man. He made a well-timed run. He got in behind Christensen, but that was perfect center back play from Midrup in that situation.
This looked like cleat on cleat. Midrup, who started all 19 games he played last season. He has been a force in back for a long time for this Rhode Island program, the senior from Germany.
A big reason why Rhode Island still expects to contend for an A-10 championship this year. They bring back Zeracostas to score goals up top, and even though they lost a lot of their scoring punch outside of Zeracostas, they still have most of their key defensive cogs back this year.
Yeah, Christensen, Midrup, and Kararud all coming back. Shapiro-Thompson on a one-on-one break with Schmidt, and he scores! Amos Shapiro-Thompson with his 2nd goal of the season.
There is his superior speed that we talked about. Takes the ball and just surges through a gap in the defense so quickly that no one could recover. It becomes a 1 on the keeper, and he slots it home. Look at him read this pass, intercept it, jumping in there, and once he gets past Tricka's dive, there's nothing anyone could do to catch up. That is so well done.
2nd goal of the season for Shapiro-Thompson, the freshman from Worthington, Massachusetts, but spent the last couple of years overseas. Played in 2017 in Croatia, played in Warsaw, Poland in 2018. So he has a mix of that international experience, some U.S. national team camp experience as well for Amos Shapiro-Thompson.
Again, just the explosiveness once he got the ball. The play to intercept it on its own right was good, but as soon as the ball was at his feet, he seemed to be moving as fast dribbling the ball as the Rhode Island defenders were without the ball trying to recover to him, and that's why no one could catch up to him.
Sigurdsson knocks it down off of Lasse Lehmann as the Eagles strike first. And talked to Ed Kelly this week. He said the goal is we want to get ahead of the game. We want to make our opponents chase the game. And the Eagles are once again in that position. 3rd game in a row scoring inside of the first 10. Ball goes out a little bit beyond Edvin Axelsson, the redshirt sophomore from Oslo, Norway.
And that goal 4 minutes in against Boston University allowed the Eagles to just play from in front the rest of the way. And, you know, for some teams, that's an uncomfortable position to play from the lead for 86 minutes like that. And when it stays a 1-goal game, BC very comfortable in that situation.
It's kind of such an odd start for BU in the fact that the Terriers had 2 opportunities in the first 2 minutes of the game, and then the Eagles came back, scored in that 5th minute, and then that was the only scoring the rest of the way. So a foul was called here moments ago on Boston College. Victor Sousa getting taught here with Filippo Tamburini.
Yeah, Sousa just tried to go up high and he went right over the back of Tamburini. Clear-cut foul, sets up a high-quality free kick. Christensen has moved over in the area to possibly take this, as has Axelson. And it looks like Christensen is the guy who's taking charge here, but we'll see. Is Axelson still hanging out as well?
Petter Christensen, the senior from Norway, was an A10 All-Conference first team last year. Preseason All-Conference team selection before this 2019 season. With the Eagles up a goal, 15 minutes in. Axelson takes it off the post, rebound, and we're tied. The quick response from Simon Trischka.
That's a good job by Trischka, who was set up near the wall in like a disruptive spot, and the ball just takes a fortuitous top to him. He jumps right to it and bangs it into the back of the net. First goal surrendered by the Eagles all season. That all started because of the wonderful strike from Axelson.
So Trischka, who scores his 2nd goal of the season, the senior from the Czech Republic. A couple of years at Assumption College in the Northeast 10 Conference, and All-Conference 2nd team selection as a sophomore. So a quick response, and a game once again tied up at 1. As Aegison playing against Christensen, and that ball goes out for a BC throw.
Northeast 10 Conference actually has 10 teams. Atlantic 10 Conference, 13 teams.
Rhode Island was picked 3rd this year in that 13-team group. VCU, last year's regular season champs, once again picked on top of the league. Low delivery, Lasse Lehmann got a piece, but steered out by Zarakostas.
Wind picking up a bit. There's a very slight rain, not even really enough to get your umbrellas out. It's more like a mist at this point. But the weather is going to get worse and worse as this game goes on. That's the reason why it was moved up. The wind will become more and more of a factor. So that's why it'd be really fortuitous if you can get a lead here early and then hold that lead, because you don't know if it's going to get to a point where the wind makes it a lot harder to move the ball successfully.
We are playing on turf here today in Newton, so that is a little bit of a better drainage situation than if this game were to be taking place on grass and the rains began to come.
At the same time, turf from time to time at that early part of the rain can get slick, so you can see some early slippage as well.
Joe Kellett has played every minute since arriving on campus after a couple of years at UMass Lowell, transferring after his sophomore season at Lowell, now a senior here at BC. Aegison was Zarakostas closest to him for Conradson. Left-footed ball over Sigurdsson, knocked down by Lasse Lehmann with some space. Sigurdsson turns one, it was blocked. Shapiro-Thompson following it up, that one blocked down as well. Couple of chances just outside of the box, and that one rolls out. The Huddle is our signature football show, hosted by Jack Collinsworth, with analysts Eric McLean, EJ Manuel, and Mark Richt. And they will preview the entire weekend slate of games and keep you updated on all things ACC. Check them out. The Huddle airs Saturday, special time this week, 10 a.m., as it leads into our college football quadruple header right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. That all leading into Pittsburgh and Ohio. Big one to start our quadruple header on Saturday.
It's also airing right now, so if you want to get the dual screen up, you can watch us. You can also watch the Huddle. Make sure you're all set for the big day of ACC football tomorrow.
Yeah, but we're going to keep you entertained here.
Yeah, so you watch. Can't you multitask? I can.
The dual screen. Longo will play it for Boston College. In a 1-1 tie, first half from Newton, Eagles and Rams. Sigurdsson chasing after it against Christensen. And the ball steers out for a throw-in for URI.
I'm just saying, Eric, you never know when Mark Richt is going to dive on a football, so you might want to have it up just in case.
Yeah, we've already had failed chest bumps. We've had some fumble recoveries in the studio. And it's only launch day times 2 weeks. Shapiro-Thompson will settle it down. The goal scorer so far for Boston College. Jesus Sawagun comes wide for Lehman. That ball ends up going out. Did not hit Lehman on the way by.
You know, you and I just learned this week that his teammates call Sawagun choo-choo.
That's right.
And I think, you know, I figured out why. At first I was trying to figure it out. I was like, where does that come from? You know, in the midfield, he's kind of just an engine that just keeps on chugging along. He really is. He works hard. He has a great work rate, covers a lot of ground. So, choo-choo makes sense. It's appropriate.
Oh, we asked Ed Kelly, who has stood out beyond some of these freshmen. Choo-choo, the first name out of his mouth. Steered out by Victor Souza, and that will set up for URI. Throw-in coming up for Petter Christensen, the Norwegian senior.
Yeah, Rhode Island has the one goal off a rebound, but they've gotten the ball to the dangerous spot outside the 6 2 or 3 times today and haven't finished. Boston College needs to get a little bit tighter on the interior of its defense because they're allowing Rhode Island too many opportunities to get to that A+ scoring area.
Christensen was over the out-of-bounds line, so a throw-in for Aegison. Adar with the new haircut this year. Jacob Maddox out of Southborough, Mass. As again, Rhode Island feels like every time they touch it, they're going to go back across midfield, work through their back, and then set up the rush forward. Do so again here with Ludwig Benko. Steering forward for Zerakostas. Victor Souza is there, and there you see the skill of the freshman center back Souza. Good work, though, there by Zerakostas to make it difficult, but a strong play on the ball by Souza.
Love what we've seen from Victor Souza throughout the course of his first 3 games. Again, he's composed and calm, which is a big key, but he's also very strong on the ball. He's a little bit bigger than Zerakostas. He used his size to step around him and shield possession.
Susky went right into Jacob Maddox. As again, Rhode Island will play through the back. URI team that's had to deal with some early scoring as well. They allowed a goal just 94 seconds into their opener against Fairfield and then did not allow anything the rest of the way. Scored in the 5th minute against UConn. Their lone shot on goal of the first half before UConn came back and scored the final 3.
Yeah, had to feel like deja vu to see UConn score 3 in a row to close out a game just like that NCAA tournament game last year.
That was another weather-changed game. That game was supposed to be on Monday this week, but because of storms on Monday, that game got moved to Tuesday. So nothing going against the exact schedule of this game getting moved up an hour due to weather concerns. Asa Lehman to play it forward. Tried to lead Susky. And that's once or twice we've seen a little bit of miscommunication on that left side.
Yeah, and Susky's still relatively new to this team as a freshman. Hasn't played more than a month now with Lehman, who's been here for 40 years. So it takes time to build that chemistry. You expect a few games to really know where your teammate thinks you're going to be on some of those types of plays. Consistent wind has definitely picked up a bit on the field. Watching the flags and the trees really start moving around.
Good play by Joe Kellett sliding down with Axelson on the outside.
This half, the wind is at the back of Rhode Island. So when you have the wind at your back, you have to take advantage of that. It becomes much harder to go the other way. Boston College, you almost just want to get it to halftime tied if you can against the wind, knowing you'll have the wind in the next half.
Turned back over for URI. Trishka, the goal scorer, got knocked down. Another foul going against Boston College. 4th call against the Eagles.
A lot of players moving forward for this Rhode Island squad. They put 6 bodies at the top of the 18, and a 7th is coming.
Christensen spins it wide for Axelson. Benko trying to get around Susky. Benko steers one into the box, and it's Souza to knock it down. Sarah Costas now against Aegison, and we'll play it back.
It's really clever play by Souza, who was not in good positioning. He was kind of boxed out, but instead of trying to fight through the bodies that were between him, he stepped around them, just walked his way to the front.
You know, there's a lot of skill that we've seen among these freshmen for Boston College, and Souza certainly stands out to this point. The fact that all of these freshmen, there's been nothing that makes you seem like the game is too fast for them so far, that they're anything but incredibly poised coming to campus already.
Yeah, yep. And I think that's, especially for the guys in defensive roles like Souza, like the goalkeeper Picardo, that's one of the most important traits, because those are positions where your mistakes are amplified. If you make a mistake at center back, or you make a mistake at keeper, there's a good chance that mistake leads directly to a goal the other way. You can maybe be a little bit more up and down as a forward like Susky or like an Amos Shapiro-Thompson, because your mistakes don't likely lead to goals the other way. It's your good plays that lead to goals for your side.
Flag was up for Rhode Island. With 20 minutes remaining here in the first half from Newton in a 1-1 tie, Boston College and URI. Ed Kelly, a couple of years at Seton Hall before the last 32 at the helm of this Boston College group. Every time we've talked to him about this group, you can tell just how excited he was to bring these freshmen to the pitch and see what they have. They've answered everything you could have expected to this point.
And so far, a couple of goals from the freshmen, strong defense, strong goalkeeping. It's been a really good start to the year for this BC team, and you know, that's really valuable. They didn't get off to a great start in the non-conference last year, which then kind of just led into a conference season where they could never really get it going.
This is one of the difficult non-conference games that Kelly talks about. You know, they're teams we play, they aren't pushover New England teams. I mean, URI, 15 wins last year to the NCAA tournament. They've beaten Boston College 2 years in a row, lead the all-time season series against BC.
Good to have a game like this, though, because remember, it's a week from tomorrow, next Saturday, that Boston College plays a conference game. They go to Raleigh and play NC State on the 14th, a week from tomorrow. They'll have Holy Cross before then.
Take a look at some of the rustling trees here in Newton. They were blowing a lot harder just a couple of moments ago, but that is the beauty of live television, that things change.
Those clouds, the early clouds from the Dorian system, again, you get an idea of the scope of the storm when the eye or the center of the storm is still down parallel to about Richmond, Virginia, out over the ocean, yet cloud cover here has been building all day.
Start working.
Ludvig Benko, senior from Oslo, Norway. 3 different players on this Rhode Island team call the Norwegian capital home. Carterud, Benko, and Axelson. Maddox. Rhode Island setting up on the outside for Axelson. Kellett closest to him for BC. Somehow that ball stayed in on the back line. To the middle for Trishka. Axelson with space. Left foot is wide.
That was a good idea from Axelson. Space to step into that shot and get the bend on it. He just didn't get it on cage, but that's a high quality chance there. It is amazing. We've talked a lot about, you know, the Icelandic culture of soccer, but the sport culture in general in Norway, another country that doesn't have a massive population, you know, has a couple major cities like an Oslo and a Trondheim, but also a lot of country and green space and the fjords and the water, but with this somewhat small population, they have a great sport culture, not just soccer. That, you know, the Winter Olympics last year, they dominated the medal table. They have some strong Summer Olympic sports as well. And I think per capita, they send as many players over to the U.S. to play soccer as any country in the world.
Yellow card about to be handed out here in a 1-1 game with the clock stopped. Our referee, Carlos Fernandez. Was given to Hadar Ageson. It's the first yellow card that anyone at Boston College has received this year. So Stefan Schmidt, the redshirt junior from Germany, played the first 2 games of last season before he was injured for the rest of the season. Back in the starting lineup, now healthy this year.
You know, pretty early in the game to pick up that yellow card, and Ageson plays a position as an outside back where you sometimes have to take a card to break up transition opportunities. So that is something Boston College will have to be careful about. They may have to substitute him out a couple of times just to protect him with that card.
And for Tamburini, it's Joe Kellett. Kellett's a good example of where this game has been played so far. When the Eagles are really pushing forward and have the ability to, Kellett's someone who weaves his way through the midfield up towards the front. But here today, he's been limited playing well in the back in that position because Rhode Island's done a pretty good job keeping their pressure on in the offensive end. Tamburini against Longo. Settles down nicely. Zarakostas trying to get a right foot on it, but Shapiro-Thompson is there. And Kellett knocks it forward. Bento controls. Longo stepped up to play it forward. Here is Shapiro-Thompson, who hits Susky with Sigurdsson out in front. The lead just a bit too far.
Now, they didn't connect, but one of the other things I noticed, as soon as Shapiro-Thompson made that pass to Susky, he didn't just sit back and watch it. He took off on a beeline, using that speed to make a run. He wanted the ball back again in a give-and-go type formation. He's a guy who looks like he could run for days. Amos Shapiro-Thompson never seems out of breath, never seems tired. You don't really see him ever walking around the pitch. Just so fit.
You know, you watch Susky run, and it's just kind of pure speed. And you see Shapiro-Thompson run, and not to say it's not speed as well, but it just seems a fundamentally sound runner, and his stride really stands out. How much he gets out of each stride, really allowing him to push forward as fast as anyone.
Eric Galanti, also now a track analyst.
Axelson bringing center. Looking for Zarakostas, keeps it in before sneaking out the goal line. Turn around through the middle, Longo down to play it out. Bento steps up, and it got clipped wide.
Doesn't have a corner kick, though. Well done by Bento to put that back into the mixer, create trouble. Rhode Island doing a strong job trying to get balls into the 18 and the 6, putting the Boston College defense under pressure pretty consistently.
Zarakostas.
Let's go, hey, nice and short. Come on.
A-10 second team selection, was part of the A-10's all-tournament team a year ago. First head on it was Lasse Lehmann. And here is Susky. We'll slow it down against Benko. Perfect lead shot, and what a save by Schmidt.
That was an unreal pass to find Conradson. Schmidt makes a huge save. It's going to be BC foul going the other way. But if we can look back at that sequence, my goodness, what a pass. So Susky starts the transition opportunity, plays it forward, gets it back again, and look at this perfectly measured ball by Susky on the numbers to Conradson, who smoked it maybe a hair too close to Schmidt, who makes a strong save.
A brilliant save there by Schmidt. 8 saves in his first 2 games of the season for the redshirt junior. Couple of subs set to come in for the first time off of the next whistle. Eagles will play it out from here, though, after the foul. Aegison, after receiving instructions from his head coach, for Kenrenson, and it clips out for a throw-in for Rhode Island.
Susky, left side. Susky, left wing. Susky.
Most of the throws, most of the free kicks, it's been Petter Christensen for Rhode Island. Trishka got caught with Sawagoon. Lasse Lehman settles. Sawagoon clipping forward for Shapiro-Thompson. Steadied in back by Charlie Booth. Settle down for Rhode Island with 11:39 to go in the first half. Game tied at 1.
They've been much crisper with their passing since that turnover in the run of play led to the Boston College goal. It was just a sloppy, loose pass in the midfield. Much more purposeful since then for Rhode Island.
13th minute goal from Shapiro-Thompson for BC. And just over the 15-minute mark for Trishka and URI. Sarah Costas meets Aegison. They call the foul against Sarah Costas.
Rhode Island's defense well organized today. Again, that only real breakdown came off a turnover. They've been good in these set situations.
Ended up in a one-on-one break. Shapiro-Thompson against Schmidt in goal. Shapiro-Thompson again for Susky. Out wide for Sigurdsson. That was Charlie Booth there as well in back. The call goes against Sigurdsson.
Again, part of the reason that this Rhode Island defense is so solid is they have Petter Christensen back there, and he's been one of the best defenders over the past few years, but he's buoyed by some strong teammates like this grad chance for Charlie Booth, who steps right in and takes the foul from Sigurdsson. But between Booth, Christensen, Costas up front, there's a good core here for Rhode Island to make a good run once again this season.
Booth, who was a 2-time captain, 3-year starter at Bryant, did not play last season due to injury, and was granted him the 5th year. Sigurdsson ran right into Booth, play on situation, and now here the whistle comes out.
I think the whistle, though, is going against Boston College afterwards. So I think originally BC wanted to foul, but then it was Amos Shapiro-Thompson trying to break the play up going the other way, who gets tagged for the foul.
Well, extra conversations after the whistle. Carlos Fernandez trying to keep order.
So this is a clean play, and that's the right call, right to the ball for Booth. And then Shapiro-Thompson stepped on Booth coming in a little bit late.
So Rhode Island ball with 9 minutes remaining here in the first half.
Tyshawn Rose has been trying to make a substitution along with Adam French for about 6 minutes, but there hasn't been an opportunity for BC to make a substitute. They need either a Boston College throw, Boston College goal kick, or corner kick. Haven't had any of them in that stretch.
Ball comes out here, and here comes the subs.
And again, the only reason BC can sub here is because Rhode Island finally decided they had a substitute they want to bring in as well.
Rohan Kowali, a freshman from Toronto, who comes in with overseas experience in Europe as well.
Sigurdsson and Lehman go out for Boston College with Tyshawn Rose and Adam French coming in.
French, who scored the Eagles' first goal this year against Quinnipiac, and Tyshawn Rose, another talented player that Ed Kelly's found out of the state of Connecticut.
French, a captain on this team as well. It was his first college goal after sitting out an entire year last year due to an injury that felt like a big weight off his shoulders, scoring that goal so early in the game against Quinnipiac.
So it'll be an interesting final 8 minutes here. Kellett through the middle, and here is Sawagun. He's played so well through the midfield. Aegison for Boston College. Conradson got it knocked away. Zarakostas playing the full field. Sawagun got a piece, and Victor Souza will steer back for David Longo. Shapiro-Thompson clipping forward, looking for Sigurdsson.
You know, there have been moments of brilliance for the Boston College front line and attacking midfielders today, but they've also had a number of passes where they seem to be not on the same page today. It's a consistency that you expect to come as these freshmen and inexperienced players develop and play more and more together at this level.
Aegison steering in. Got headed back, but flag was up anyway.
Yeah, French was way too wide open there in the middle. You knew he had to be offsides.
Tune in for fantastic women's soccer action next Thursday featuring the defending national champs right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. 6th-ranked Florida State and their quartet of Mack Hermann Trophy candidates hosting Colorado at Seminole Stadium in Tallahassee. 7 o'clock Eastern, that's Thursday on ACC Network.
Started the year ranked #1. They've dropped a game to fall down to #6 in the rankings, but still one of the best teams in the country.
Florida State, which will get a lot of run on ACC Network, including against Boston College coming up in just a couple of weeks. In the first ACC game for the Eagles and the Seminoles.
2 losses for Florida State, both out west in Los Angeles. They played UCLA and USC, who were ranked #4 and #5 at the time, fell in 1-goal games in both of those matches last week. That's why they were only dropped down from 1st to 6th, with those 2 other highly touted teams in both games coming on the road.
Yeah, Florida State team that lost a lot during the ACC regular season last year were in the bottom portion of the ACC standings before making a run and beating North Carolina in the final. Zarakostas coming to the middle for Rhode Island with 5:20 remaining in the first half. Out wide, and the pass too long for Axelson. For Ed Kelly, probably, if you looked at where the throw-ins were coming, probably farther back of the field defensively for BC than they would hope for in a perfect world, the way they like to play and press.
Yeah, I mean, Rhode Island's done a nice job continuing to push forward in this game as well. I feel like it's been pretty even in terms of the number of opportunities and the amount of possession moving forward, particularly over the last half hour or so. You know, BC's had to play a little more defense than maybe they had to against Quinnipiac or Boston University, and that also neutralizes the attack some, because when you're playing defense, you're obviously not going forward. How's that for analysis right there?
Whistle here will give it to Boston College. Second game in a row for Rhode Island, just 1 shot on goal in the first half, and it found the back of the net. Shots are fairly even, 6-5 BC, but 4-1 in shots on goal for the Eagles. Sawagun looking for help, has Conradson. Got caught, got knocked to the ground by Midrup. Good play for the Rhode Island center back. Job by Axelson, stayed on the ball a long time. Leading Kawali now, sliding down, kept in. Good play by Longo to get back for Boston College against Kawali.
It was a strong recovery without fouling by Longo after Kawali had made a great play just to keep that ball in bounds.
Kawali from Toronto, spent time playing at IMG Academy in Florida for a couple of years, lived in Portugal for 7 months. Even had a 1-week trial with Sheffield United before coming to Rhode Island. Whistle on the throw. And a foul against URI.
It's a dangerous spot. You know, you're likely not going to try and shoot it from here, but you're close enough that you have to keep the goalie honest in that regard. Likely they'll BC will put their runners up on the top of the box and hope that Conradson can find somebody. That's one of the things we didn't even talk about at the top of the show and what makes Conradson so good. He is a phenomenal taker of these free kicks.
You saw that shot earlier that was a big save from Schmidt. Conradson here on a bounce, skipping through. Nobody got it for a while before it steered out to the side. Sawagoon keeps it alive. Zarakostas comes up and makes the play on Susky. Not out of the danger zone yet, though, for URI. Conradson stepping up and delivers it high.
Good sequence there for Christopher Conradson. First the dangerous ball through, then that blast just quite not target, but he continues his strong play.
With 2 minutes remaining here in the first half, Eagles and Conradson looking for a bounce-back season. That's what Ed Kelly is very honest in talking at the beginning of the year. It's one of the great things about talking to Ed. He says when we had a bad year, we had a bad year.
Yep.
And that's 2 years in a row in his estimation. And he feels like this is a freshman group has a chance to get the Eagles back towards the NCAA tournament.
And again, the big concern, how do you find scoring with 9 goals gone out of 19 last year? Well, the answer so far has been you have a number of different players who can all contribute and score goals to make up for that 9-goal bunch from Enstrom.
Susky off of Schmidt. Good save, hugging the post.
I like that take. Even though it was from a sharp angle, if you catch a keeper cheating on the pass, you can sometimes sneak it inside there.
Ball will trickle out as the hill next to the stand starting to fill up here. Weather is okay at the moment. Wind has died down. No rain at the moment. Kind of a cool, pleasant evening with a minute to go in the first half. You can see French was right there waiting if that ball got through. Aegison with some space in front. Under a minute remaining first half. Good block by Midrup. Eagles content to go quickly in the final moments of the half. Shapiro-Thompson got deflected and will set up a corner in the final 23 seconds.
Got to go fast here for Boston College. Again, when that clock hits 0, it's not like professional soccer. There's no stoppage time. You just got to go here at the buzzer. So don't maybe waste as much time setting up as you usually would. Just play it through.
With 10, low ball deflected out. 5 seconds remaining in the half. Conradson for a back post header up over the bar. And that's how the first half will come to an end. Shapiro-Thompson on the board for Eagles scoring in the 13th minute. Rhode Island just 3 minutes later, which has us at this 1-1 tie. The URI ball to start. This Rhode Island group, 15 wins this season ago, trying to get back to that point. Winning the A10 championship, 3 clean sheets in the tournament to advance to the NCAA tournament against UConn. Eagles will throw in to start. And this is when the game was supposed to start. We were moved up an hour because of some of the effects of the outer bands of Hurricane Dorian, expected to hit the Boston area at some point later this evening. We saw some wind early in that first half. We're expecting to see some wind as this game goes on, but as you can see, pretty still, at least right now.
It's blowing pretty good if you look at the right trees behind goal here. I think
it actually is amazing. The camera shot we showed you had no trees moving, and if you look behind the goal that Rhode Island is defending, it is looking pretty strong at the moment.
Yeah, the wind is sustained right now, 12 miles an hour, so that's significant enough to make a difference. We've got gusts upwards of 20 miles per hour. The way the wind had been blowing in the first half, it would be currently favoring Boston College here in the second, blowing with the Eagles from behind Picardo. Right now, I don't see much flag movement from those flags down on the pitch. The wind seems like it's right now blowing higher in those trees, so hard to gauge exactly what direction it's blowing right now.
Goal kick for Picardo as we restart after a whistle and the clock stopped. Ball goes out here ahead of Aegison for a throw-in coming up for the Eagles. Shapiro-Thompson against Maddox. Shapiro-Thompson, who scored the Eagles goal in the 13th minute. Sawagun on a clean play. Settles for Conradson. Got hit from behind by Axelson. Sawagun stepping in for Shapiro-Thompson, left foot wide.
Oh, that was a nasty move, though, to get free. Just to step on the ball, spin it around, take that shot with his off foot, all-in-one motion. Just sailed on him a bit. But look at the opportunity created after the turnover forced here by Sawagun. How quick a spin this is. Just one touch back, spin, and create space. He has supreme talent and technical skill. Somebody who's going to make a huge impact for Boston College all season long.
Trishka with Victor Souza there to knock it down, and Sawagun will force forward. Right now for the Eagles, Adam French starting the second half up front for Boston College, with Sigurdsson starting the half on the bench. Adam French, who did not play last year due to injury, and came in, scored his first career goal in the opening moments against Quinnipiac in the season opener last Thursday. Off of Rose, Kellett steps up, playing for the speedy Susky. Susky coming to the middle, low one on the ground. They let it go by for Shapiro-Thompson, but couldn't get a shot towards net.
I think that was a good idea by Sigurdsson to let it ride. He would have been back to goal, whereas if Shapiro-Thompson had run onto the end of it, he would have been going right at goal. So smart decision, just broken up at the end.
Throw in for Rhode Island. Miscommunication there, so BC will get it right back. Game that's gone back and forth a little bit in the midfield over the last couple of minutes of that half. There is French, plays it back for Kellett. Sawagun for Rose. Tyshawn Rose, who starts the second half after coming off the bench as a sub. Another close game here between these two teams. Eagles have a history of playing some one-goal games. You can see some of the numbers last year, 12 games decided by 1 goal or less overall for this season. They lost a number of 1-goal games, 6 of them last year. That if that goes differently, it feels like a very different season for Ed Kelly's group.
And this year currently 1 for 2 on 1-goal games. A 1-goal game against BU last time out 1-0. Lopsided blowout 2-0 against Quinnipiac the game before as they scored those 2 goals to stretch things out in that game.
There's so much talent. There's so many good players, especially at the ACC level. You get them just because everybody's talented. And as Ed Kelly has told us, most of our non-conference games, when someone's playing a Power 5 school, it's going to feel like one of their bigger games of the year. So everybody putting their best foot forward leads to some 1-goal games. URI wanted a handball, and they're going to get it right outside the box in a dangerous position.
Yeah, this is incredibly dangerous. We already saw Rhode Island score off 1 set piece. This is centered up perfect. So let's see, called a handball. Was it a handball? Absolutely. Straight into Souza, not that it was intentional, but swatted right off his palm on Tamburini's shot.
So Christensen and Axelson are there. Zarakostas a couple of steps away.
Axelson took it the first time, rattled it off the bar for Trishka to get the rebound. Wouldn't be surprised if Christensen takes it this time, tries to bend it around the wall with his left foot.
Trying to break a 1-1 tie. Christensen right into the wall. Still alive. Second one blocked by Rose. Third try. Conradson's got the header. And here comes the Eagles' counterattack with Shapiro-Thompson. He's got a goal already. Help from Susky and French to the middle. French trying to steer one on goal, but it hit off a Rhode Island defender, and Schmidt able to play it back.
That speed for Shapiro-Thompson, again, he's outrunning players while dribbling the ball. That is so hard to do. It generally slows you down, but he just bossed that ball down the pitch. Unselfish play to find French, but did end up leading him into a double team.
Axelson will play back his spin Rhode Island's MO. David Longo settles. Axelson with space. Axelson missed his freshman season due to injury with Rhode Island. Strong play last year in all A-10 second team and all rookie team selection. Played club level soccer in Oslo since 2005. Maddox will go back for Charlie Booth. Axelson, good touch to keep it ahead of Kellett. Got it back to himself, but couldn't steer the pass towards center.
Yeah, you're right. That first touch was really good, but to play it that way, you had to play a bouncing ball, which is tough to connect on the volley, and it just shanked there well wide for the goal kick.
You can hear both coaches giving instructions to their groups, trying to get through a game. These two have played a lot through the years. Aegison will chase after it. Gareth Elliott, who knows something about this, they coached against Ed Kelly, even as a player at Rhode Island when Ed Kelly was the head coach at Boston College.
Yeah, if you've had a hand in any type of college soccer in New England in the last 3.5 decades, you're probably familiar with Ed Kelly.
No foul, no foul.
French for Sawagun. Good play coming back by Zarakostas, and the foul will go against Boston College as Zarakostas got upended. Gareth Elliott, as we said, who was a really good striker in his time at URI. You see his numbers, 87 points in his career, then was an assistant coach for the Rams for a while before getting his first head coaching job at Siena, before then coming back to URI 7 years ago.
A couple of trips to the NCAA tournament with this group, built a strong program down there, a team that plays well in these regional rivalry games against other local opponents, including back-to-back wins against Boston College.
Really, when he first got to Rhode Island, and talk about turning around a program. Year number one, Rhode Island was winless in A-10 play. Turned around year two, they were ranked number 21st in the nation going into the conference tournament. From 2-14 overall, what a remarkable turnaround it was, and he's kept this Rhode Island program at a pretty high level ever since that point. Benko trying to find a through ball that the Eagles defense was clean on with Souza.
Yeah, Aegison stepped in too, reading that pass and jumping into the lane. Those two combined to shut down the opportunity.
Shapiro-Thompson gets it in the middle. It was the first time someone matched him speed for speed there as Axelson came back.
Yeah, Axelson had a little bit of a head start. He saw that coming, so he had a full head of steam to get there and from behind get the ball first, which was important because otherwise he would have given away a free kick and a foul.
Kellett trying for a deep throw to Susky, headed down by Kararut. Sondre Kardarut, an A-10 rookie team selection last year, also from Norway. A lot of high balls into this windy night.
And again, the wind has started to, again, go in the direction of Boston College here. So from the right side of your screen to the left side of your screen, which means for Rhode Island, if they want to advance up the pitch successfully, they're likely going to have to keep the ball on the ground as much as they can.
Over the head of Susky and out. Where are we right now? I mean, basically this entire second half has been played really right in front of us here in the midfield.
Yeah, 2 shots aside in the second half, but not consistent flurries forward either way. I think we're waiting for somebody to just step up, make a big play, and with the speed of Shapiro-Thompson, he creates a foul.
Benko got his hand on Shapiro-Thompson, so the foul whistle comes out from Carlos Fernandez.
Yeah, pretty easy call. It wasn't a ton of contact, but that grab up by the shoulder enough to slow Shapiro-Thompson down and net a free kick for BC. Hey, it really does feel like a game where it might only take one more goal to win it. 2-1 could very well be the final score. So who's going to step up and make the big play?
Conradson ball in, first header out. And that will go off of Rhode Island. So an Eagles corner kick coming up.
So where Christopher Conradson's danger is, he'll go over and take the corner. He's very good at putting the ball where he wants it to.
Second corner for Boston College. That first one came, though, with just about 20 seconds remaining in the first half. So had to rush it. Conradson ball in, bending for Sousa, who's wide on the header.
Not bad, got it to the back post. Sousa bodying up, tried to flick it on. It's a really tough one to get on cage when you're going the full 180 degrees, almost back to front. But you got a decent clip of it, just not quite on the mark.
So with 32 minutes plus remaining here in this Boston College, Rhode Island, New England soccer match. Game tied at 1, and Susky. Rhode Island trying to counter back the other way. Longo knocks it down for Tyshawn Rose. East Hartford, Connecticut native Rose sees this ball go out. Throw-in coming up for Boston College. Eagles trying to develop. Sawagun's pass too strong. Felt like the right kind of pass that the Eagles are looking to thread a little bit more, but that one just a bit too far for Conradson.
Yep, and you know, that's kind of been a theme today for Boston College. They haven't been really all that precise on those passes. There have been a lot of balls that have been a step or two off, or where there's been miscommunication. One player's gone one way and one's gone the other. Not as crisp as they were against Quinnipiac in their home opener here. They still generated 14 shots, so I think we can't you know, crush the offensive execution. They're out shooting Rhode Island 14-7, but they haven't been as on the numbers around goal.
Eagles, who came up with 17 shots in their last game against BU, 10 of those 17 came in the second half, in a game that held up 1-0 from a 5th-minute goal from Conradson. Deep throw for Rhode Island. Trishka, the goal scorer, from Axelson. Joe Kellett was there. Rose playing well defensively as well on that stand. This one rolls out. Rhode Island thought it was a corner, and indeed it is.
Will be, yeah. Kellett was trying to win the goal kick call. The captain did not win that argument. You know, the way that this game's kind of turned into, it wouldn't be surprising to see a set piece be the difference maker, because Rhode Island hasn't generated much in this second half in the run of play. Not many good high-quality scoring chances, but they've been very good in set pieces so far.
Rhode Island's goal came off of a rebound of a free kick off the post. Corner, low delivery, first head on at Boston College. Benko, second play, right in for Picardo.
Like Picardo was catching a punt there as that came right down to him.
He did signal fair catch. Never know when the ball's up in the air like that on a windy day like tonight. Ball came up high. Susky and Axelson modeling hairstyles against each other.
You got to give it to Axelson. He's got the headband going.
Headband wins.
And just ask Giacomo Picardo.
Good move on the outside. Conradson setting up with space. Christopher Conradson, lot of room. Soft touch leading the way. Clip to the center, and that gets knocked out for an Eagles corner.
That build-up from Conradson was next level. He heard the oohs and the ahs. Does net a corner kick, but he's going to kick himself a bit because after all that great work dribbling, his pass was a little bit heavy. So you watch what Conradson does once he gets the ball from Aegison, and he just weaves his way through around one, around another. But here's the pass. Needed to be a little bit better. Instead, too far out of Aegison's reach, and that's what took away a great goal-scoring chance.
Before this corner, Stefan Sigurdsson comes in for Boston College. Corner kick, though, is deep, and that one rolls out for a Boston College throw.
Maybe a disappointing corner kick. Didn't really threaten the goal.
So Kellett on the deep throw for the Eagles in the 1-1 tie. Sigurdsson was right there. That one heads off of him. So Rhode Island with the goal kick. And a game up that got moved and out due to weather concerns turned into windy but peaceful night to this point. Good night for soccer here in Newton. Rose leading forward. And too far, Schmidt plays it clean.
You wonder if that's one that maybe did get carried a little bit by the wind that's behind BC there. Again, I think you can be more precise with your passes on the ground today than up on the air, particularly going in this direction.
Rhode Island setting up. Cross coming to the middle. Axelson knocks it down. Trishka tried one that was blocked.
Job by Souza cutting it down, jumping right into the shooting lane.
Shapiro-Thompson got twisted on the pass from Susky.
Yeah, Susky today is the one who's maybe been the guy that the most times has had those miscommunications where he's passed it one way and the run's gone the other, or he's been making a run and the pass has gone the other way. Just he wrong-footed Shapiro-Thompson there. If he put that ball off to the left, Shapiro-Thompson had tons of space to run.
Pressure from Sawagun, but he's whistled for it against Zeracostas. Saturday, we'll have a college football quadruple header for you right here on the ACC Network and ESPN app. Pittsburgh starts the day off when they host Ohio at 11 a.m. Eastern. South Florida then takes on Georgia Tech at 2, followed by UL Monroe squaring off against Florida State in Tallahassee. And the action culminates at 8 with Miami taking on North Carolina in our ACC Network primetime matchup sponsored by Geico.
Boy, there are some teams in serious need of wins there. You include that Pittsburgh team needing to bounce back at Heinz Field. Miami looking to recover from their Week 0 loss to Florida against the North Carolina team that takes all kinds of momentum into this weekend.
Ball out for a goal kick coming up for Rhode Island.
Some big proving games for ACC teams tomorrow in the non-conference as well. Syracuse plays Maryland in an important game. Clemson, the number 1 team in the country, plays number 12 Texas A&M. And of course, Boston College. They'll play an FCS team in Richmond, but a Richmond team that played Virginia well last year as the Eagles look to build off their Virginia Tech win last week.
Just down the road from us in Chestnut Hill, here on the Boston College Newton campus. BC and Rhode Island locked at 1 ever since the 15th minute. Out off of BC. A sub off of that last whistle. Ronaldinho Denise, the senior from Brockton, Mass, comes in for Boston College. So just adding another speed element into the equation for Ed Kelly.
Yeah, Denise has gotten run time in each game this season so far. And here in a tie game at this point, part of the reason you take out some of your key contributors, maybe for a 5 to 10 minute spurt here, is you want them fresh at the end, but you also have to plan for the possibility of more than 90 minutes at this point if this game stays tied.
Axelson against Kellett. Pass threaded too far. Carter Rude. Charlie Booth, the transfer from Bryant. Rhode Island working through its back. Ed Kelly asking for his team to pressure higher. They do so here. Sigurdsson coming after it, but Schmidt plays on. Zarakostas coming back to the middle. Axelson is high.
That all started because of the height of Tamburini. 6'3", comfortable on the ball. He was able to win that aerial ball off Schmidt's blast the whole length of the pitch. And once he did that, it set this buildup. This is a really good pass. In rhythm, you'd expect Axelson to do better there. That was good buildup and a dangerous chance for Rhode Island.
Collision goes clean as Shapiro-Thompson plays on for Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson got around. Eagles playing out wide. Another good move, spinning to the center. Denise tries one, and it clips off his foot wide.
Ronaldinho Denise in a key spot here, getting some run time. You know, the build up to the outside is where I think this BC team's at their best. That was really good dribbling by Aegison. That's a dangerous spot. Denise, though, never got squared up. His shoulders were angled off to the right side, and the ball kind of went in that direction.
As we've said, this half has been played a lot in the midfield, but BC has had more of those chances. For Rhode Island, they had the 1 or 2 corner opportunities, but pretty much.
Yeah, shots were 11-5 at halftime. They're 15-9 now, so officially 4-4 in this half. Interestingly, none of those 8 shots combined have gone on goal. Shots on goal are still just 5-1 in favor of Boston College.
Just the 1 goal for Rhode Island. That's the lone shot on goal to this point.
Rhode Island's also only made 2 substitutions today, and those 2 subs have played a combined 11 minutes. They're starting 11 out there right now again. So Boston College at this point, they've played 3 subs, but slightly fresher.
Sigurdsson on a good run using his size. Got knocked to the ground, and it's steered out. Game tied at 1 to this point, with the Eagles getting on the board first thanks to Shapiro-Thompson.
Yeah, he reads this pass, just jumps into it, and once he intercepts it, he's gone down the middle, slotting it home in a composed shot. Rhode Island had the answer, though, with Trishka following the rebound. Nobody near him. That's what Ed Kelly talked about. There was no response from the Eagles on that play.
Still standing at that point, tied at 1. Out to the side, Conradson keeps it in and then cannot. Whistle on that collision.
Surprised that they didn't play the advantage there. I know it would have been about a 1-on-3 for Zarakostas as he picked the ball up and started to attack toward goal. But he had the speed. He was making the aggressive run. It's clearly a foul, but I would have liked to see, from Rhode Island, advantage played for Zarakostas. Give him a chance to make a run before you bring it back.
So Rhode Island will get to start. Under 20 minutes remaining here from Newton in regulation in this game, tied up 1-1 after Souza whistled for the foul. Trying to go all the way. Look at the aggressiveness out of Picardo to punch it. Rhode Island still following back. Booth fanned on the first try. And Sawagoon with the touch. Works all the way back for Schmidt.
You know, Picardo's been asked to make a total of 8 saves in his 3 games now as keeper. But even though we haven't seen a high volume of saves yet, you see those types of plays where he's aggressive, breaking up crosses. He's not afraid to mix it up in traffic. And that's where you see that he's already, in just 3 games, capable of playing at a high level in the college game. He doesn't show any type of hesitation.
Ed Kelly talks about his club experience and how it's really prepared him for this level. And he is someone who has more experience than your average freshman and more confidence back there to play opportunities like that. Sawagun wide for Aegison. Comment to the middle. Sigurdsson is wide.
Boy, Sigurdsson was in a great spot there. That's a perfect cross. Just missed. Let's look back to this play by Picardo, skying high, willing to mix his body up to knock it out. That was well done. Then on the other end, this is a great cross. Sigurdsson's there. And for Schmidt, that might actually be a mistake. He went out to try and knock it away, playing it safe. That ball was headed out for a goal kick, if not for his contact.
Goes over everybody, and Rhode Island lets it clear out. So you wonder if that has something to do with the wind. 2 corner kicks in a row from that side, Bill, have sailed everyone and gone out for goal kicks.
I would agree with you if the wind was what it was like 10, 15 minutes ago, but now you look and you feel it doesn't seem very windy. It seems like we're in a lull right now. So I think just a couple mishits from Conradson, which is surprising. You're used to him being so consistent and striking the ball well.
Kellett got the first piece, but a whistle off of that 50-50 ball off the goal kick will go to Boston College. Well, this is the kind of spot in the game, and as Ed Kelly says, well, Simon Enstrom's not here, so he's gone and we have to move on. But years past, a spot like this, 1-1 game, you need to find a goal. More likely than not for Boston College, it was coming from Enstrom.
Yep.
And the task this year is finding who that guy is. You can't replace all the goals, but finding the clutch gene guy. Who is that in this spot in a 1-1 game with 17 minutes left?
Personally, the way he's played in this game, I'd love to see the ball keep going through Amos Shapiro-Thompson. I think he has been phenomenal. He's comfortable on the ball, and he's been dangerous every time he makes a run forward.
That perfect blend for Ed Kelly of where recruiting is right now. Of someone from here, has spent time with the U.S. national programs, played at Milton Academy here, but then also spent a year overseas, playing in Croatia, playing in Poland. So much experience from the likes of Shapiro-Thompson.
Yeah, and Ed Kelly said that's actually the perfect blend for a player who can jump right in and contribute in college because he knows both the American game and the European game. He can take his best parts of both of those games and combine them in here at the collegiate level where you do have a lot of players who've come up through American systems and you have a lot of players who've come over from Europe. So to combine that experience on both sides gives him that extra advantage.
Settles it here, goes for Denise. Wide ball looking for Conradson, and he let him too far. That was Derek Aron, a redshirt sophomore, is back there into the game for the first time for URI on defense.
BC readying to return Mike Susky at the next opportunity. This is a time now, especially when he comes back in after a break where he should be a little fresher. This time in a game when the defenders have been on the pitch for a full 75 minutes so far, his speed can really make it sting on the back line. He can use that speed to try and take advantage of tired defenders.
Turn back the other way. Sigurdsson. Denise trying to lead Kellett. And a good defensive play as Charlie Booth shields Kellett. And here comes Susky back into the game for Boston College.
And he'll actually spell Christopher Conradson. So Conradson's going to come out of the game for the time being. You'd expect him to return pretty shortly. Denise is going to move from the left side to the right side, and Susky will come in and play the left side. fact, Ed Kelly just said to Christopher Conradson, just a couple of minutes. So, as we expected, you won't see him out for long.
Well, when speed is such a factor the way it is for Boston College, you have to find those minutes for rest and spelling guys. And Ed Kelly's got enough depth that he can do that right now.
There's a huge press from Quinnipiac. They put a ton of pressure on BC to force them to retreat the ball all the way back to Picardo.
Sigurdsson with a nice touch. Leading Denise. Good save by Schmidt.
Heck of a ball by Sigurdsson. You wonder how he even saw that run coming from Denise, because when he made that pass, Denise was well behind the defenders from Rhode Island. Look where Denise starts on this run. He's way back there, but Sigurdsson just slots it out into space. Denise runs on the end of it. Good strike, trying to go short side.
So Conradson, remember, just checked out of the game. So the Eagles will go short on the corner with Kellett. Shapiro-Thompson for Aegison, tried to steer a pass, got a rebound. Schmidt there again.
The Eagles wanted a handball.
"13 minutes left in the second half from Newton with the game tied 1-1.
That's a great setup once again by Shapiro-Thompson, who beat his man down the end line and was able to then cut it back to Aegison.
Sigurdsson's got room against Booth, tried to center it. Booth to the ground, Sigurd still fighting, out of it, and a corner for BC.
BC really turning up the intensity here. A couple big pushes forward, that last sequence with the 2 shots toward goal and now the corner kick.
Went short on the last one with Kellett. Again, Amos Shapiro-Thompson is the closest Eagle to him. Kellett trying on net here, short, knocked out by URI. Eagles have played with good possession right now. Flipped in all the way on Schmidt. Conradson about to check back into the game for Boston College, so an extremely short break as Ed Kelly will send him to the scorer's table. Aegison knocks it down, going against Zarakostas. Maddox back to play it. Kellett sliding for Susky.
Good play by Sagoon to break it up again. That's what he does. You might not see his name in the score sheet all that much, but he makes those little plays in the midfield to alternate possession.
Susky trying to feed Sigurdsson, still has the ball, sets up Denise, got around, and it's just high. Might have been clipped on the way by Schmidt, and it'll set up another corner.
My goodness, the ball handling first from Susky, then from Denise to dribble under pressure and put it through. Just watch this from Susky, in through a double team. That step around great. A touch for Denise, who stayed onside. He brings it back, and Schmidt made the save. I'm not sure if that would have gone in if it hadn't been touched, but it very well may have. That deflection may have been key. And now Christopher Conradson comes back into the game. He'll take the place of Jesus Sagoon.
So the Eagles will put another forward out there. Rhode Island putting Christensen back in there in the back. Low ball, though. Conradson came back in but did not take that corner, and it was immediately spelled by Rhode Island. The Eagles still on possession, coming up on 10 minutes remaining in regulation. Settled down for Denise.
It's been all Boston College the last few minutes. They're up to 21 shots, and 7 of them have come in the last 10 minutes of play.
You wonder, it's done a couple of good runs by Denise. You wonder if that's the spot Conradson might have taken, but Denise earned himself a couple of extra minutes.
Yeah.
Of course, hard for us to know up here, but Denise played well. The most, though, in the second half that we've seen one team kind of control possession here is the Eagles have done a good job over the last few minutes holding firm in their end. Rhode Island trying to answer that call, though. Setting up Axelson with space to the middle. And it was knocked out with help from the defense.
Sousa coming up big once again.
Header is wide from Tamburini.
You know, that was a pretty good effort from that angle. A little further out, kind of falling away. Only spot he could have scored was in that left corner, and he almost redirected it there.
Another Rhode Island sub as Zach Dreyer, the sophomore from outside Buffalo, comes in, as does Simon Trishka, the senior.
No, any goal kick.
Game that has stayed tied at 1 ever since URI tied this game in the 15th minute. Eagles pushing again. Pass for Conradson was a little bit long. Benko will push for Axelson. Susky coming back. And Longo steps up, knocked it out off of URI.
Well done by Longo.
Another player that Ed Kelly highlighted in our call this week who's been really happy with the likes of Longo and Sawagoon, who are not going to litter the box score, but have played big minutes for Boston College. Eagles will get the quick restart, trying to go quickly for Denise. With Aegison moving up. Denise chipping one in. Booth was there. Denise again back on it. For Conradson, got stuck in a 1-on-3, and Rhode Island takes possession. Eagles have to be very happy with their build-up over the last 6 or 7 minutes.
Now it's looking for that final decisive play in the attacking third. That's what's been lacking here in the second half.
Longo for Denise. Spinning around. Sigurdsson shot stopped again by Schmidt.
Denise with another phenomenal play to create a good look. He's had a huge run of play in the last 15 minutes. Really, this push from Boston College has coincided with when Denise was inserted into the game.
8th save of the game for Schmidt. URI coming back with Benko, got knocked to the ground.
There was very little contact there. Benko trying as hard as he could to buy a penalty.
Yeah, but you still.
Rams pushing again, 6:44 remaining. Kellett closest to Benko. Back for Dreyer. Gonna deliver a ball in. Sarah Costas gets whistled for the foul.
Well, Boston College has had its chances, up to 22 shots in the game. Ronaldinho Denise with 2 defenders on him. That's a really tough touch. And then on the volley, that is so well struck by Sigurdsson. Left-footed volley, and Schmidt comes up with another big save. Then on the other end, after Zara Costas had gotten bumped a couple of times, not gotten the call, he runs through Aegison and picks up the foul.
Yeah, when that right arm extends in the view of the official, that's where the call comes.
That's how much you can get paid. So like you get an award.
5:50 remaining. Rose for Conradson. The Eagles pushing again. Trying to find Susky, and it ends up hitting off of Susky as Dreyer went to the ground.
Yeah, Conradson just under-hit that pass a little bit, and he's actually coming up a little bit lame. Not sure if tiredness or just a little bit sore, but he's struggling there up top for Boston College right now, and they may need to get him out of here unless he can dig it back out again.
Filippo Tamburini comes back in for URI. There you see Conradson. Came out for just about a minute and a half, a little bit earlier in this half. Shapiro-Thompson now in the run. Trying to hit Denise. Shapiro-Thompson still on it after the miscommunication on the pass. Aegison coming to the middle. Sigurdsson there on the back post, but the pass was long. Sigurdsson pushing against Dreyer. Centering one, nobody home. And Christensen clears.
As Conradson a couple times has signaled the bench that he's okay, but he's really laboring to the point where he never got up there into the flow of the attack either. I think Boston College likely will need to take him out of this game.
Rhodey trying to answer back. Sarah Costas hit off of Conradson first. And a Rhode Island opportunity here in the second half. Eagles have been able to counter. Denise, good footwork, settles for Sigurdsson. A little bit behind Aegison. Sigurdsson gets the turnover, shoots, and scores! Bullseye into the upper left.
My goodness. That's how you welcome yourself to the college soccer goal scoring party. That was an absolute missile, a heat-seeking missile. Sigurdsson stepping up. Nobody stepped up to break up the shot, and you could not pick it out better than that. I mean, this is a 10 out of 10, a 100 out of 100. Perfect strike. Just gorgeous from a player with all types of talent.
With just 3:51 remaining, the way that Schmidt had played, making 8 saves today, felt like it might need a perfect shot, and they got it.
And BC's going to get Conradson out of here now, especially with that lead. He was laboring, put Adam French in there to try and finish things off. Boy, what a shot from Sigurdsson. That was just perfect.
So now for Rhode Island, after the Eagles had really built up for a while there, it felt like the buildup was going to lead to something for Boston College, and it did. How do you change it quickly for Rhode Island to try to get an opportunity?
You just have to be really aggressive, push bodies forward. You only have 3.5 minutes to work with. Remember, they did respond quickly to the last Boston College goal. By the way, you asked, okay, who's going to be the clutch finisher for Boston College? Who's going to find that role that Simon Enstrom filled? Well, I think Sigurdsson, even before that goal, was making his case. He was very aggressive in this second half. He was wanting the ball. He took a couple other shots and just striped that one under pressure.
You know, sometimes you see it, and there's a lot of guys at this level who are physical, strong players, but Sigurdsson just feels like he's bigger than everyone else out there.
That's because he is.
He is at 6'3", 185, but his ability to move with that frame, and he got around a couple defenders there to put himself in position to take that shot.
And it also allows him to be a guy you can keep in the game, even though he's a striker, with the lead, because he can help defend set pieces with his size.
Christensen playing farther up. Sigurdsson will touch it to Suski with 2:30 remaining. Kellett settles down, but Picardo jumps out to play it. He will try to take as much time off the clock as possible with 2:10 remaining, with the Eagles up 2-1.
And now if you're BC, what you want to do here is start getting the ball out to the corner flags if you can in the offensive end. You don't need to pressure for a goal. You just want to run the clock and limit the final opportunities for Rhode Island.
Header by Kellett. Adam French, who came in for Conradson. Go out wide for Denise. Midrup there for Rhode Island. Sigurdsson, good play by Zach Dreyer to take it away.
Tyshawn coming to you! Tyshawn coming to you!
Build up for URI wide. Sarah Costas to the middle, headed down. Christensen for Maddox, and Rhode Island forced to work back. Trishko scored the lone URI goal. Still to this point, just one shot on goal for URI. 10 shots total in the game.
Time for one or two more flurries forward. They've got 9 up near the box right now.
Big leg for Schmidt. Headed down by Sigurdsson, again using his size. Axelson answered. Booth steps up to play it. with 33 seconds remaining. Headed down by Sigurdsson, rebound try, Trishka fanned on it. And now Denise. Angling on the side with under 20 seconds remaining.
That was so well done by Denise to keep the ball and then play it all the way across the pitch.
Susky try to take it to the corner. Knock off the final 5 seconds. A late goal by Sigurdsson, and the Eagles stay undefeated.
Well, they had to grind that one out, but they played so well the final 25 minutes. Over the last